Hello, dear friends. We didn't love freedom enough. Alexander Solzhenitsyn once lamented. Opinion piece. Chinese quantum breakthrough. China humiliates the West. While the economy is in free fall. 100 Brics bill presented. The Global South wants to reinforce its role. The Kingdom of Hawaii seeks its sovereignty. Let's start. China has made a breakthrough in the development of quantum computing by successfully entangling multiple ultra-cold atoms in optical networks using a laser trap, which could lead to the construction of scalable quantum processors. Until now, no one had managed to entangle more than two atoms at a time. This fact opens the door to the entanglement of atoms on a large scale. China is at the quantum forefront at the terrestrial level, but the galactics have far superior technology. China humiliates the West with its quantum computer millions of times more powerful. Their new quantum computers are so fast that they can calculate tasks in 1 millisecond that would take the world's fastest conventional computer 30 billion years. If a few months ago we told how the Chinese quantum computer Zhuangzi surpassed that of IBM, now they have just presented two new computers that are even more powerful. The first is Zhuangzi 2, or second, a 66 qubit programmable superconducting quantum computer that is much more powerful than its predecessor and 10 million times faster than the 54 qubit quantum computer. The second is the Yuzhang 2 or second, a computer that works with photons and is even faster. Despite the potential that this technology has, for now, the Zhuangzi has to operate under very controlled conditions with very low temperatures and can only perform very specific tasks. But even when these conditions are achieved, the machines continue to make many mistakes. China is now the leader in quantum computing, but it also stands out in artificial intelligence, nuclear energy, space exploration, or genetics. All of them are fundamental fields that will end up defining the coming years of our civilization. Explanation. Quantum entanglement is a fundamental phenomenon in quantum mechanics in which two or more particles become interdependent in a very special way, so that the state of one particle is instantly related with the state of the other, regardless of the distance separate them. This occurs at faster than the speed of light, challenging our classical intuitions about information and communication. It plays an important role in emerging technologies such as quantum computing applied to economics and remains an active area of research in quantum physics. Chinese researchers, under the direction of Jiang Weipan of the University of Science and Technology of China, have for the first time entangled more than two atoms into one-dimensional chains of 10 continuous atoms and two-dimensional plates of 8 atoms with simultaneous entanglement between all atoms. The results of the study demonstrate that several of the basic components needed for quantum processors based on optical networks are now practical. This ability to entangle multiple atoms and control them at the single atom level is crucial to building operational quantum computers. Breaking news. Is China facing a lost decade? Ever since the China's real estate bubble burst, the question has been, are we on the right path to Japan, Said Richard Koo. China and Venezuela signed an agreement for the development of special economic zones. G7 leaders are deeply in debt. The Brics 11 now have oil reserves worth $736 billion, or more than triple that the G7's $205 billion. Iran showed a 100 Brics bill at the meeting where it joined the group. Iran says it has withdrawn all dollars from the currency exchange servers. They present a 100 Brics bill with the Mexican flag. Although Mexico is not part of this international group, it does appear on a symbolic bill that the Russian official delivered to the Arab Emirates. The G20 announces a plan for digital currencies and digital identifications. The Global South wants to strengthen its role in global governance, including the economic sphere. The West failed to Ukrainize the G20 summit. At the last G20 meeting, states were forced to renounce any statement condemning Russia for the war. They agreed that the current era should not be one of war. They talked about food and energy security, emergency preparedness, adoption of the digital economy, and much more. Battle. The world economy is in free fall, and we will know if it collapses in mid-October. The plan to use the emergency broadcast system on October 4th would be a signal that some type of black swan event is likely. The question is, will the good guys or the bad guys control it? When will EBS arrive? Nobody knows, but Executive Order EO 13848 expires today, September 12th. This is an order issued by President Trump on September 12, 2018, related to the imposition of sanctions in response to foreign activities that interfere with elections. Declare an emergency in response to foreign interference in the electoral system and other malicious cyber activities that threaten national security. There are many signs that the battle is being fought behind the scenes. Some type of confrontation is expected at the UN General Assembly on September 18th and 19th. The X-22 report says you are being exposed to the police state and the Posse Comitatus law. He adds that the Davos Forum is pushing its agenda, and the more it forces it, the worse it would be for them. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 is federal legislation that limits the use of armed forces in internal and civil affairs within the US, except in the case of preserving life and property in situations of serious riots, insurrection, or rebellion, and when the president authorizes an intervention. It was enacted as a measure to maintain the separation of powers and protect civil liberties. USA. The US Army will supervise the 2024 elections. Texas declares an emergency because wind and solar energy is not working, and they have decided to use other methods of generating electricity. Donald Trump says a Great Depression is coming, but we can fix it. General Flynn denounces a plot to disrupt the internet. The Kingdom of Hawaii seeks its sovereignty as 50 indigenous nations come together to start a new Earth. This union of indigenous nations had been predicted by the ancient prophecy called the Eagle and the Condor, which said, "When the people of the four directions of the world unite, they will begin a new Earth." Message. Puffiness said, "The concealments are becoming more and more murky and strange. The need to find secret hiding places is even more important for people who never thought the exploits would see the light of day. There are many involved who do not know what it what is at stake, what is at stake, or why all this secrecy is required. They have strict mandates of silence. There are many pieces to this whole scenario. Be at peace and endure. Take no prisoners. Believe little. Find ways to manifest faith in the higher truth that that come to the surface, and know that the higher energy is busy doing what is doable. There are many aspects that you will know one day. In the meantime, do something important. Lay the foundation of deep knowledge and be content with what is. You could do worse, and you wouldn't have it. Control your own emotions and advise others to do the same. Prophecies. In 1999, the Cassandra prophecy was written that identified the abomination of desolation and concluded that the tribulation would begin and the Antichrist would be revealed at the end of 2015. It was obvious that something or someone interfered with the evil plan, since it had been interrupted the timeline of the end of times. Ian Gurney's Cassandra prophecy foretold that the abomination would be the dome of the rock. The expression Cassandra prophecy is used in popular culture to refer to situations in which someone warns of imminent danger or catastrophe, but is not heeded until it is too late. It refers to Greek mythology and is related to Cassandra, a mythical figure who had the gift of prophecy, but was also condemned so that no one would believe his predictions. According to Robert Singer's interpretation, Nostradamus' writings say the world would end 4 months before 2023. He adds that Paracelsus' writings also say that the world would end in 2023, and that the book of Daniel in the Bible says the same. Ian Gurney does not believe that the fate of humankind is predicted in the apocalypse. Gurney concluded that ancient prophecies and world events seem to run in parallel, and that the fate of humankind has already been predicted. In a metaphysical war against Mother Earth, they would use humans to weaken the planet with pollution and environmental and electromagnetic damage. They became rich using monopoly money created out of nothing and used it to alleviate the money and credit famine so that factories could finance the consumer society. But wealth was cut off so the Western world could buy cheap things from China. Enough humans choose to help Gaia win the game because they strove to live in harmony with the earth and create positive energy. The game was decided in Gaia's favor sometime before 2015. The 7-year tribulation would mark the beginning of the end game and was to begin before 2016, but it didn't begin. According to Ian Gurney, the final global holocaust will not happen, which is good news for non-believers, but not so good news for believers. The important thing is that all catastrophic prophecies fail, not that they are right. In Luke 21, Jesus predicts the end of the world and describes the destruction by armies that would have taken place in the second half of the Great Tribulation, and would have been so bad that God had to intervene. If the Great Tribulation had happened, then the sun and moon would be darkened, a global conflict of Armageddon would have occurred, a global famine the likes of which had never been seen before, and the gates of hell would open with hordes of locusts as large as horses. According to prophecy, the great temple in Jerusalem must be rebuilt before Jesus can return to earth. The first time for the Jews, the second time for Christians. If some blew up the Dome of the Rock, built on the site of Solomon's temple, millions of Muslims would rise up in a holy war. The game would be a very complex metaphysical fight between powers that be, but we ignore many details. Monotheism teaches that the purpose of human beings is to worship a single God, and then to go to heaven or hell. Naturalism postulates that the purpose is to worship Mother Earth. Buddhism argues that the purpose is to overcome suffering so as not to be reborn. Hinduism teaches that the purpose is to worship an absolute and eternal being called Brahman. But what if we were here to be pawns in a game of metaphysical chess? Unlike the game of chess, pawns that do not belong to any side. Why do almost every laborer in the world have a mobile phone? The ultimate goal could be electromagnetic pollution of the Earth. The 6 billion mobile phones in the world are driving the Earth crazy. The objective would be to collapse the Earth's magnetic field with a pole reversal. If you want to help God win the game, live in harmony with the Earth and creates positive energy. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.